deep night, 1184 before the Common Era. In the center of Troy, the greatest city of the Bronze Age, stands a giant wooden horse, as tall as a 3-story house, covered in carvings and gold leaf. Inside it, in absolute darkness and stifling heat, sit 30 armed Greek warriors. They do not move. They barely breathe.
Outside, the city is drunk. The Trojans are celebrating the end of the 10-year war, singing, dancing, unaware that in a few hours they will all be killed. One accidental cough, one creak of wood, one groan from aching muscles, and the entire operation would end in the loudest failure in history. But that will not happen, because it is this very night that will destroy Troy, erase a civilization from the face of the earth, and give birth to a legend that will outlive millennia.
This is the story of how 30 men in a wooden belly decided the outcome of a war, of genius and cynicism, of trust that kills. But to understand how they got in there, we have to go back 10 years. Troy, a city in the northwest of modern-day Turkey. It controls the passage from the Aegean Sea to the Black Sea. Walls 6 meters thick, an impregnable fortress. 1194 before the Common Era, a fleet of 1,000 ships approaches its walls. The reason? Paris, a Trojan prince, abducted Helen, the wife of the Spartan king Menelaus.
Menelaus went mad with rage. His brother, Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, decided to turn a family drama into a coalition war. He gathered all the kings of Hellas: Achilles, Odysseus, Ajax, Diomedes, the elite of their time. And the siege began, which lasted 10 years.
Children born at the start of the war were old enough to take up arms by the end. The Greeks could not take the city by storm. The walls were too strong. The Trojans could not drive the Greeks out. The army was too large. A stalemate.
By the 10th year, everything was falling apart. Achilles is dead, an arrow in the heel. Ajax went mad and took his own life. The soldiers were grumbling. The officers were losing authority. A little more, and the army would simply scatter. Agamemnon understood. If he didn't end the war now, he would never end it.
And then Odysseus proposed a plan. Insane. Incredible. Genius.
The plan was this: build a giant wooden horse, hide an elite squad of warriors inside. The rest of the army burns the camp and sails away. The Trojans rejoice, drag the horse into the city as a trophy. At night, the warriors climb out, open the gates. The army returns and slaughters everyone.
When Odysseus voiced this, a dead silence fell over the tent, because the number of things that could go wrong was off the charts. The Trojans might burn the horse. They might tear it apart and find the warriors. They might not drag it into the city. The warriors might suffocate in the heat. Someone might cough or groan. The army might not return in time.
This was a Hail Mary pass. A desperate throw at the very end of the game when there are no other options. But there really was no other choice. Construction was entrusted to Epius, the best engineer in the army. A carpenter, cowardly in battle, but with golden hands. The task: build a hollow structure over 10 meters high, strong yet light, with a hidden hatch, with ventilation,
Otherwise, the men would suffocate. Out of wood, in a military camp, with limited resources. It took several weeks.
But the horse is only half the plan. The second half is psychology. The Trojans had to want to drag it into the city, themselves, joyfully.
This is where the high-level game begins. First, they made the horse a work of art. Carvings, gold leaf, ornaments. The Trojans were supposed to think, this is an offering to the gods. Second, an inscription on the side. An offering to Athena from the Greeks for their safe return home. Third, the most cynical part, they left Sinon behind. A Greek, a volunteer, agreed to stay and play the role of a deserter. When the Trojans came out of the city and saw the empty camp, they found Sinon hiding in the bushes.
They seized him, brought him to King Priam, and Sinon told his story. Tearful, convincing. How the Greeks wanted to sacrifice him to the gods, how he escaped, how his comrades abandoned him.
And that the horse is an offering to Athena. If the Trojans destroy it, the goddess's wrath will fall on Troy. If they bring it into the city and honor it, Athena will protect the city forever. Sinon wept, swore, vowed. Oscar-worthy acting. And it worked, because the Trojans wanted to believe. They were tired of the war. They were offered a chance to believe it was over, and they agreed. This is called cognitive bias. People believe what they want to believe.
But there were skeptics. Laocoon, a priest of Apollo, shouted, "I fear the Greeks, even when they bring gifts." He even hurled a spear at the horse. It embedded in the wooden flank with a dull thud.
Imagine how the hearts of the warriors inside skipped a beat. But then, two giant serpents slithered from the sea and strangled Laocoon and his sons. The Trojans took this as a sign from the gods. Laocoon was blaspheming. The gods punished him.
Cassandra, Priam's daughter and a prophetess, also screamed that the horse would bring doom. No one listened to her, as always. The majority wanted to celebrate, and the celebration began.
The horse had to be dragged inside. The problem? It didn't fit through the gates. The Trojan solution?
They dismantled part of the city wall. The walls that had protected them for 10 years, that the Greeks could not overcome with any siege engines. They dismantled them themselves for a wooden statue.
Mass madness. The whole city dragged it, with ropes, levers, on rollers, singing songs, drinking wine, dancing. And inside sat the Greeks, hearing it all.
Virgil describes how one young warrior nearly burst into tears from the tension. Odysseus clamped his hand over the boy's mouth. There were about 30 or 40 men inside. No more would fit. Who exactly? Odysseus, the leader. Menelaus, the one who started it all. Diomedes, one of the greatest warriors. Neoptolemus, son of the fallen Achilles. Philoctetes, the archer with the legendary bow. The elite. Because if the plan failed, the entire top command would perish at once. The horse was dragged in, placed in the central square. The feast began. Wine flowed like a river. Dancing, embraces, tears of joy. 10 years of siege were over, and the warriors sat in the darkness, the stifling heat, the
cramped space and waited.
Hour after hour, listening as the songs faded, as the revelers dispersed, as the city fell asleep. Fear, adrenaline, incredible excitement. Everything would be decided now. But the most incredible part was still ahead.
Deep night. The city sleeps. Most are dead drunk. Sinon creeps up to the horse, gives the signal. Odysseus listens. Quiet. The sign. Open up. The creak of the wood seems deafening. The first warrior pokes his head out. Air. Fresh air after hours of confinement.
They climb down on ropes, one by one, silently. 30 armed professionals in the heart of a sleeping city. First target, the gates. The guards are drunk or asleep. They are killed quickly, quietly. The gates are opened. The Greek army storms into the city. Thousands of warriors, 10 years of accumulated anger and thirst for revenge. Hell begins. No prisoners, no mercy. Streets flooded with blood, houses on fire. Screams, groans, clashing of weapons. The Trojans try to resist. Aeneas gathers a squad, tries to organize a defense. Hopeless. The city burns. The enemy is everywhere. Menelaus searches for Helen, wants to kill her, bursts into the house, raises his sword, and stops. The ancients write he saw her beauty and couldn't do it. But it was more complicated. You spend 10 years consumed by revenge, and then you look at the real person, the one you shared years of your life with. He spared her, took her back. King Priam dies at the altar. He is killed by Neoptolemus, son of Achilles, coldly, without emotion. The infant Astyanax, son of the fallen Hector, is thrown from the city walls so he wouldn't grow up and take revenge. The logic of war. Women and children are led away into slavery. Cassandra is raped by Ajax right in the temple of Athena. For this, the goddess will later punish the Greeks. Their fleet will hit a storm. Many will drown. The city burns all night. By morning, only smoking ruins remain of great Troy. The war is over. But this was not a battle. It was a massacre. A defenseless city, sleeping people, a surprise attack. From a military point of view, genius. From a human point of view, monstrous. And here arises the question that changes everything. Many historians believe that no wooden horse ever existed. Troy is real. That is a fact. Heinrich Schliemann excavated it in the 1870s. He found 9 layers of the city, built on top of each other. The layer corresponding to the Mycenaean period, Troy 7A, destroyed around 1180 before the Common Era. Traces of fire, arrowheads, human remains. The war happened, but the horse? The theories vary. First option, the horse was a battering ram in the shape of a horse. They broke the gates with it. A second option, an earthquake, common in that region, brought down the walls. The Greeks took advantage of this. Poseidon is the god of the sea and earthquakes. Poseidon's horse is a metaphor. Third option, treachery.
someone opened the gates. The horse is a poetic metaphor for deception. Fourth option, literary invention. Homer wrote 500 years after the events. Details blurred. Dramatism was added.
Most likely, there was a trick. The city was burned suddenly. The defenders were not ready. But a giant wooden horse with warriors inside is an artistic exaggeration. Although it no longer matters. Because the real story is not about whether the horse existed, it is about why we still believe in it. The Trojan horse became an archetype. In military affairs, any trick where the enemy infiltrates by pretending to be a friend. In politics, a law that looks harmless but contains a hidden danger. In IT, computer Trojans, programs masquerading as useful ones. In psychology, deception that exploits the victim's trust. Beware of Greek-sparing gifts has entered hundreds of languages. Films, books, paintings, from ancient vases to Hollywood blockbusters. Renaissance artists adored this plot. Tiepolo, Rubens, dozens of others.
Shakespeare mentions the Trojan horse in several plays. Why? Because the story speaks of the eternal.
How pride destroys. How trust can kill. How victory turns into moral defeat. How people believe what they want to believe. But there is something else.
On the one hand, Odysseus is a genius. He found a way to end the war, saved his men. On the other hand, extremely dirty tactics, using trust, religious feelings, deceiving. Do the ends justify the means? The ancient Greeks didn't agonize over it. For them, the main thing was the result, victory at any cost.
We live in a world of the Geneva Conventions, rules of war, bans on perfidy. But the ancients didn't care. War is war. Either you or you're done. If you can win by cunning instead of putting 1,000 men in the ground in battle, why not?
From this point of view, Odysseus is a rationalist, a pragmatist. But this led to the massacre of civilians, the murder of children, rape, looting of shrines. The question remains open, and this is exactly why the story lives on.
Perhaps no wooden horse ever existed. Perhaps it is just a beautiful metaphor for some other trick. Perhaps Homer made it all up to make the story more interesting. But it no longer matters. Because humanity has been repeating this mistake for 3,000 years. We are still letting our Trojan horses in. It's just that today they look different. Financial pyramids. Invest money, get 10 times more. Political promises. Vote for me and everything will be fine. Fraudulent schemes. Congratulations, you've won $1 million. Phishing emails. Click the link. The same psychology. Believe because you want to believe. 3,000 years ago, the Trojans dragged a wooden horse into the city. Today, we click on dubious links and install programs from unknown sources. History repeats itself.
It always repeats itself. The only thing we can do is learn. Remember, pass these stories on, because stories are all we have.
The experience of generations packed into metaphors and myths. And the Trojan horse is one of the best such stories. Cruel, cynical, genius. Just like life itself.